this guy sucked. Dude, he got 4 kills. Meanwhile, you're like 0-17. But like, you know what I mean?
And
this
it's his fault.
Yeah,
not yours.
it's his fault, bro.
You're doing great.
That guy. Dude,
This is the exact opposite of what we just said. You said we need a friend to call us on our shit, and then you said, but the best friends will blame other people when it's your fault.
Hello. Welcome back to Time Well Meant, the podcast where we're asking, if you put whole milk through a Brita filter, does it become skim milk? Something to keep in mind. If you're new to the podcast, or if you're coming back and joining us again, we like to talk about a number of different things. We like to talk about the goings-ons of the internet. We like to talk about video games. And of course, we like to talk about our most important topic, mental health, and how that relates to our personal lives. I'm Silas, and I am joined by a man who probably ponders similar questions to myself. Kirby, how are you today?
I'm a Lord Magneto.
You know, it's really funny. So before we even started recording, first of all, I've been watching so much SVU and so much has happened in the past 2 weeks. Get that out of the way. But before that, we were talking about what topics we had, and you just reminded me of one that our buddy Taylor told us to shut the fuck up about Marvel Rivals.
Oh, yeah? Did he really?
He goes, well, so, okay, so I can't remember what episode that he was saying that he was watching or skimming through or whatever. It was when we mentioned, we talked before too about how we need to start chaptering the episodes and all that shit. But one of the things he mentioned was, I don't want to hear you guys talk about Marvel Rivals. So first and foremost, I just want to say this real quick. Fuck you, Taylor. We're going to talk about whatever the fuck we want on our podcast. You want to come and be a guest, you can talk about whatever you want. But until then, we're talking about whatever we want. Nah. That was all I
was thinking for episode 21, we would do like a Marvel Rivals special and just talk about nothing else. You think he'd be interested in joining in that convo?
He would definitely be the one to join in and be like, let me tell you all about Marvel Rivals. God damn it. He'd also be the type of person to pick up Marvel Rivals and immediately be annoyingly good at it, but then get too pissed to want to play it continuously.
Yep.
That fucker.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Can't take it too seriously, man. That game will eat your soul if you take it too seriously.
Yeah, I've definitely, man, and I don't know what's happened recently, because there hasn't been a lot of games that I've been playing where, you know, usually when the way that I approach video games, it's a very unhealthy way of approaching video games. It's like I'm aware that it's unhealthy, but I still do it, where like, if I know that a game is pissing me off, I will just play through the tilt. Like I think I've talked about this in previous episodes where I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna play, right? And whatever happens. But for whatever reason, like lately, I've been willing to like cut myself off, right? I can be like, you know what, I'm not gonna play this anymore. I'm gonna go do something else, or I'm gonna, you know, change things up or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still get tilted and I still get pissed off. That's kind of just who I am, I feel like, as a person. But it's not to the point where like, let me give you an example. When I was playing Overwatch regularly, I would play for like 12 hours straight and then like get tilted probably like 4 hours in, play through that tilt, be untilted and then get tilted again and then play through that tilt and then get untilted. And like, it was just like this cycle of like, I'm just fighting my way through the tilt, right? Horrible way to do it. Don't do that. It sucks. But now with like Marvel Rivals or with like Deadlock is a little bit harder because those games are really long, and the community has kind of it's shrunk compared to what it used to be, right? Or even like Rocket League, it's so much easier. Like the other day I played with TJ and it was so easy to be like, hey, we had some good games. I'm getting the fuck off this game because I don't want to get to that point where I'm going to get tilted and then play through that tilt. Yeah, I don't know what that is that growing up? Is that maturing? What's that all about?
Maybe it's maturing, but there's something to be said about how much time you've spent in the game and who you're playing with.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Bubba Gump and I, we play, you know, basically exclusively ranked 2s together. And I generally don't, I would say 90% of the time, I don't get tilted. I'd say it's, you know, whatever. We lose a couple, we win a couple. That's just the way, you know, I've played so much of that game. It's the way it goes, man. Sometimes you smack the ball, sometimes you get your ball smacked. But then, you lose 8 times in a row, and it's like, all right, it's time to call it. We're calling it here. Bad night. Tuesday's bad for Rocket League, whatever fucking day it is. But with Marvel, I think 95% of the time I'm like, whatever, on to the next one. You just click that one more round button, and the last one never happened at all. Goes away.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you're in a bad game, and your teammates are just running their fucking mouths.
Yeah.
And it's that's when the tilt begins. I will admit it's funny you brought this up, because I had my first legitimate rage quit that I've had in recent memory.
Oh.
I can't even remember the time I rage quit like this, but I was playing a game the other night. I was doing top damage on our team, and we got steamrolled in the first round, and they were like, oh, Moon Knight's throwing. I was Moon Knight.
Are you playing ranked?
Yeah. So we got steamrolled, barely moved the cart in the first round. But I had top damage. I was ace on our team, and they said Moon Knight throwing. Like 3 separate people said Moon Knight throwing. And this was also kind of late at night. I was already a little tired, and I was like, you know what? Nah, Alt F4, went to bed. Not exactly proud of this. It is funny, but
oh shit.
I screwed 5 other people over in that game.
Fuck
Not that
'em.
they were gonna win anyways.
Oh man,
It's a
'em.
balancing act, because we're all adults, we're all human. They're just trying to have a good
not
time.
all.
I was just trying to have a good time.
Hold on. You don't know that they're all adults. First and foremost, not in Marvel Rivals.
I was like 11 o'clock at night, bro.
Dude, kids are crazy these days. I guarantee you that at least one of those is like a 14-year-old who's like in his room, like supposed to be doing his homework, and instead he's playing fucking Marvel Rivals.
And shitting on me. Well, he didn't even put out as much damage. Go do your fucking homework, kid.
That's
Study
always
for that math test tomorrow, Junior.
That's always how I hate, like, I think for the most part, the way that gaming is now, I feel like it's aged up a lot, right? So like as you get kind of a little bit higher into the ranks, you can feel like a little bit more maturity, but at the same time, there comes that like venom with somebody who's older and can then shit on you a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Who can get a little bit more personal and hit your buttons the way that you weren't expecting to be hit. Like a 12-year-old's gonna be like, fuck you, I'm gonna fuck your mom. Whereas like a 25-year-old is like, I hope you get into insufferable debt and then step on Legos every night. It's like you shit like that, right? Where it's a whole different level playing with like an older group. And you can tell the level of age too, because I feel like you play with like some like, older teenagers or like into like people like, like 18, 19 and then into like their young 20s. There's a certain like way that they're going to talk shit versus like someone in their 30s versus someone, and like as the decades go on, the shit talking it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum of shit.
You get older and wiser, and you're more quickly able to identify the jugular so you can deliver that kill shot.
Oh man. I
hope your fucking wife leaves you, bro.
Yeah. Dude, you will never amount to anything in your whole fucking pathetic life. Like, dude, I've definitely said some really mean shit that I'm like, I'm glad I didn't press the mic activation button when I did, because it would have got me fucking banned.
Kids these days are crazy, all the way up into their 40s.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's an older era for gaming, man. Like, especially with how many different genres. I know when I was role playing, I mean, it was people as young as 18, because that's the age limit for the server that I played on, all the way up to people that were like in their 40s and 50s. That's just what they like to do. They like to pretend to be, little cowpokes. And that's, it's funny to me. I know I had this, we talked a little bit about this, I think on the last episode. I was talking about how my mom had kind of like started getting into gaming and kind of that older generation, who have definitely, it's been exposed to the greater, populace, but it's not something that I think people were like willing to like take their first steps into, right? It is like almost a little bit of a scary world. Whereas now people are so much more open. I kind of think about it as like the same way, like the same relationship that people have with like manga and anime, where when I was in high school, man, people would shit on all the anime kids, right? They were like, fuck, you guys are nerds. Whereas like now it's the cool, like everyone loves anime. Like most people are like, yeah, I have at least one anime or manga that I'm watching, right? Or have watched, or something that, you enjoy. I feel like it's definitely like a changing climate that allows for, an older populace kind of enter,
What do you think is the cause of that? Because when you're saying that, my mind immediately thought about like hearing people from the 80s or people who grew up in the 80s talking about how D&D was so
Oh,
uncool. The
yeah.
fucking nerds playing D&D. But now everybody plays D&D. Everybody
Yeah.
talks about D&D.
Um,
So is it just time, do you think? Like
I think
there was
so.
D&D and then there was video games and then there was anime, just as a few examples over the timeline
Mhm.
where when they first came out, you're a nerd if you play video games, you're a loser if you play D&D,
Yeah.
you're a weeb if you watch anime, and then time goes on and now all those things are
Yeah.
pretty much the hotness.
Yeah. I think the real telltale sign is, and what it really like comes down to is the fact that nerd shit is cool. Like, I don't give a fuck what you say. Nerd shit is fucking cool. Like, think about,
Nerd shit.
dude,
Yeah.
comic books, graphic novels, books, art, all of these things that are like these, like at one point in time through various points in history were like these niche little things of like, oh, that's dumb. Think about like, people were like, photography's never going to take over. It's always going to be paintings. Like, no, it, redefined the landscape of how we capture memories. Or like, video games are going to rot your brains. Meanwhile, now it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry. All of these things that kind of start as these like little niche bullshit things, grow into, something otherworldly, something like just like life changing for some people. Like I know for me and you, I feel like we're both kind of on the same boat of like video games absolutely changed our lives. They shaped who we are today, and helped us make the connections that we have now. You and I would have never been friends if we weren't both into video games. You know what I mean? It's, it brings people together, and I think slowly but surely people kind of start to realize, and I think there's also kind of a removal of the stigma. There's this initial thing of like, I don't want to watch anime because that's for fucking nerds. Whereas like, oh, well, my buddy, John over here, he's watching anime and he works like a 9 to 5. That's, yeah, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe you know what I mean? And then slowly but surely, and I think, there's certain things that'll always have a stigma, but I think there are also certain things that the stigma slowly kind of lifts or it changes. And then, the climate changes. And I think as people grow too, or as I guess generations go on, it shifts.
So I think you hit it. It's probably a combination of just time passing, but when the time passes, the nerds that were in middle school playing NES back in the 90s are now grown up and they don't care anymore and they're like, video games are cool, which then influences their children and the next generation.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
True.
I think
Damn.
we just solved a major life world issue here. Somebody call the newspaper.
I mean, you honestly brought up a really good point about the fact that you're right, that it is, these people, man, I have a really good example. So my dad, there's this place here in the DFW area called Tornado Terry's. I know that you and I feel like have talked about Tornado Terry's.
Still there, right?
In Keller, yeah. Okay. Still there, still rocking it. When I was a kid, man, my dad used to take me to Tornado Terry's. I was like 10 years old first time he took me. And man, like that was such a big thing because he was able to share a love of video games that I didn't know that he had, where he, you don't think about like your parents, if they were, born like the 80s, like they would go, or not the 80s, but like the, if they grew up in the 80s, I should say, like 70s and 80s and stuff like that, with the cabinets and like playing like, Galaga or,
Street Fighter.
Asteroid or whatever. And so like he would go and play his Retroid boxes and I'd go play like the newer ones. And it's a really interesting thing to think about, like, yeah, that you're absolutely right. Like if your parents grew up on it, it then allows for your kids to then be affected by it. So that's interesting. Yeah. I think, fuck man, think about your kid. Your kid's a fucking pro gamer and he's young.
Yeah.
Like I was not nearly that skilled at his age. Holy shit. So.
Yep. But he just wants to be a YouTuber, like every child his age. That
Yeah.
is the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man, there was a time when he was a little younger, and he was on this for a couple years. He's like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to go to space.
Hell yeah.
And my big old dad heart was like, please do that. I want to live through you, kid. Go to space.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's
Then,
definitely
the social media and influences
Yeah.
around him and his friends and everything. Dude, that is all those kids want these days. That's it.
The
YouTuber.
it used to be, yeah. I think when we grew up, it was like the most. I mean, I've heard this a billion bajillion times, where it's like the most sought after career was like astronaut, president, that type of shit. Today, it's influencer, YouTuber, yeah. It's again that kind of goes back to what we were just talking about of the climate of the world and how things shift and change. You look at how people have made that into a career and how they gain notoriety, and you know, everyone likes the concept of let me play video games for a living. Like people are like, that's fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like, and here's what I can say.
There is a lot more to it, and we both know that.
Yeah, we're both, you know, in terms of content creation, it's so much more than just. And I'm not saying, you know, that either of us have ever made any sort of like crazy. You know, you and I have both had our experience with streaming, and now we're doing the whole podcast thing. But that doesn't mean that we've met any sort of like, you know, real success. It's mostly just been like the work and the process that like we've put into like doing this damn thing, right? And that's what it is. It's work. Like there's a guy named Mudahar that I follow for a long time, and one of the best pieces of advice he's ever given on his YouTube channel is, and I mean, he's, you know, a career YouTuber, but he always says, don't put all your eggs into this basket, because there's it, just like that, it could be fucking gone. When we first started, we talked a lot about internet drama. Obviously, we've dialed back from that, and we talk about other aspects of the internet. But I mean, dude, like every fucking week or every other week, someone was getting canceled. Someone was like having their career irreversibly damaged. It's so easy to just take, you know, a career like this, like if you're making it a career, it's so easy to just fuck it up, right? It is so easy. All it takes is one really fucked up mistake that people are like, I don't really like that you did that, and it's just gone, right? Or it's damaged and tarnished in some form or fashion, right? Obviously, for some people, they're able to bounce back really easily and, you know, just keep on keeping on, but
I'm sitting here thinking, is it that easy, though? Most of the people we talk about do quite stupid, calculated, obviously dumb things.
do we need to go down the list of like,
Yeah.
What dumb
Pull
shit?
up the locale list.
yeah.
No. I'm just thinking, it jumps right into my mind that most of these people are doing well for themselves, a large viewership, a lot of views, you know, got the money rolling in, and then they're like, hey, 15-year-old on Discord, what up, bro?
But that's why I'm saying like, that's why I'm thinking like, I don't think that they're very calculated. I think you almost gain this like level of like, you feel invincible, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can just do whatever I want, when that's not at all the case, right? You have to be calculated in how you move if you want to, you know, do this successfully. Either that or just be a good person, but that's real fucking hard to do, apparently.
That's real fucking hard. I guess in my mind, when I said calculated, I didn't mean so much like they planned it and they were sitting there going, I'm going to talk to this young person and fuck my shit up. But they purposely, with a motive, made stupid choice.
Yeah.
Versus you and I sitting here chit-chatting, I feel like there's a low percentage chance one of us is just going to say something so off-color that everybody on the internet hates us.
True.
Then again, maybe the statement I just made pisses people off, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this day and age, I feel like it's pretty easy to either piss someone off or be pissed off about something for whatever reason. And it doesn't matter who you are. Like somebody out there, that's like something I had to kind of come to terms with within the content creation world, is like, not everyone's going to like you, right? You have to understand, like I'm the type of person who, this is definitely a character flaw of mine, I have a really hard time dealing with people not liking me, right?
Ooh, you should delete that from this final release.
Well, this is something that I've slowly gotten over, right? Because when I was younger,
let's test that.
Right. Well, what I mean by that is like when I was younger, and I guess I need to preface this in like by saying, you know, if some random fuck on the internet like is like, I fucking hate this loser fucking neckbeard bitch, right? I don't fucking care about you. Like I could very easily just like whatever, right? It's when somebody like gets to know me and then goes, yeah, not a fan. You know what I mean? And the reason for that being, this is something that I didn't know that was an issue until like later in life, a little bit later in life. I had some really good friends of mine that I met through work and travel that as soon as we like actually became friends, they were like, yeah, we fucking hated you when we first met you. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And like, it like, you know, you say that out loud, but then like inside you're like, oh my fucking God, that just ruined me. Like it completely changed like how I approach life, where like, I don't necessarily try and please everyone, but I definitely like, I want to present the best person that I can be, right? I want to be the best person that I could be. You know, I guess in order to present the best person, I have to be the best person that I can be. Um, I don't know. I think that comes down to a more personal level rather than like an at large. Cause I think, you know, if I meet a random fucker online who's like talking shit to me in a Rocket League lobby, I'm like, fuck you, guy, you know? Whereas if it's someone that I've met and then they're like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of you. It's like, damn.
But why? But why? Tell me why.
I don't know.
That's... To give just a little example here of what you were just saying, when we received one, I'm gonna let you finish this drink. Okay, but when we got one YouTube comment that said "bad husband," you know, that was real easy to write off. You see why I let you finish your drink there?
Yeah. I love that.
That was really
so
easy
much.
to write off. But and man, I hope I don't regret saying this in the YouTube comments, but if we got 100 comments saying "bad husband," "shitty husband," that would get to me.
Start to wear on you.
Bit.
Yeah. I've always thought about like what sort of you know, because I'm definitely kind of a fantasizer. I daydream a lot and I think about things and how they could play out and plan out. Obviously, you can never prepare fully, but it's nice to think about things. And I've definitely thought about how hateful comments could be made about like, you know, my crooked teeth. I'm sure people would end up commenting about, or you know, whatever, my fucking big forehead or something like that.
Dude, let's just go ahead and list all of our biggest
my
insecurities here
hair,
right now. That way people know what to comment.
My like shitty beard. I had kind of a big nose. Why do you have such round glasses? Well, like, got 2 donuts on your face, fella. Like, I don't know. But like, and the thing that, you know, it's funny is like, the thing about it is that I'm pointing out all the obvious ones. It's the ones that are going to fuck me up are the ones that I wasn't even thinking about. Right? Like, that's the one that's going to fucking hit here. You know, some shit that I like, that I'm going to read and go, do I do that? Like, oh, man.
But the thing is, I wouldn't know. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what the button is until someone presses it.
Yeah. And then it can't be unpressed. You just start.
All right, YouTube, do your thing. Find our buttons.
Oh shit. Oh man. Yeah.
God damn it.
It's a weird thing, man. And it's so funny, man. Like I love outside perspectives. I really, it's one of my favorite things. I love, you know, asking somebody for an outside perspective. It's why, like, if I make something, I'll always, you know, try and go to someone and be like usually it's my friends, which always, you know, they're always going to be nice and have positive feedback, right? But like,
Hey, your video's great.
Yeah, you ain't even fucking seen shit. But like when you go to people for things like that, it's like they're always going to be positive, but it's still good to have like think about if you have a problem in your life and you go like, man, hey, listen, like, you know, I got this, you know, issue with whatever. Having that outside perspective of someone saying like, oh, well, maybe you should try this. For some people, that can definitely be a real beneficial thing. For others, it's like almost like taken offensively. I've definitely seen people like on social media. Recently, there's a social media post that I saw where this girl was posting about how like her mom was saying that like she's kind of a needy person. And then someone like posted underneath that, it was like, well, I don't think that's necessarily the case. But, and as soon as the but happened, all of a sudden it turned into a fucking argument, right? Where it's like, well, if you don't want to be in my life, fuck you, that sort of thing, right? So I think having a healthy dose of criticism is definitely good. And again, having an outside perspective, seeing something that you wouldn't normally observe can always be beneficial. Like, I think it's a way to grow, right? there's definitely things that I am aware of that I do, but having something that I'm not aware of that I do, oh shit, there you go. You know?
That that is where you need a real, true, good friend in your life.
Yes.
Because if you go post it on Reddit, chances are you're gonna get shredded. And if you go to, a close sibling, relative, mommy, daddy, whatever, they're just going to be on your side and supportive 100%.
Yeah.
It's really critical in life to have that good friend. And if you have the opportunity, you need to be that good friend who can hear the situation from your side, but be removed enough from the situation. Also say, I can see why you're frustrated, but you kind of fucked up right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely having someone who will call you on your shit, as they say. It's huge. I think having that, and man, it's funny that you say that, because I feel like it's something that not everyone will have access to. Like, I think,
Definitely not.
Something that I've been thinking about recently, and I don't know where this even came from or why I have even had this thought. But the fact that, in life, like, not everyone is going to have, or like, I guess it's more so that, like, how am I trying to word this? As you go through life and you meet different people, you don't know their situations. And so it's hard for like someone like you or me, I feel like, I think we can probably maybe understand it because we may have been through like a period of life where it happened, but like not having friends or like not having that good friend is like, I can't even imagine, right? Like, I couldn't imagine not having someone call me on my shit if I, when I fuck up or when something happens. Because I have a great support system. I have great friends that are willing to, say the shit that needs to be fucking said. And it's hard for me to really truly imagine like not having that support system and not having that. It's hard for me to relate. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get that. And maybe we're just lucky in our circumstances in that we've met these people on our paths, because maybe if we didn't, things would be different. I think I can say that with pretty well certain.
I think a big thing that I think that needs to happen for you to, because obviously like relationships of all sorts are a two-sided venture, right? If there's ever a time when you're going through friendship after friendship, relationship after relationship, and every single time you're pointing all of the blame on the other person, it's time to take a look back and really analyze those things and get introspective and go, maybe I have a couple issues that I need to work out, right? I think a big part of growing and a part of becoming a good person is taking that step back and being able to go, okay, why aren't these things working out? Am I treating people like shit? Like, am I being a fucking annoying asshole? For me, that's kind of how it was, where like, as hurtful as my friend's words were, it was one of those things where like, oh shit, yeah, I was being really annoying and I was being a bit obnoxious and I was being too much and too extra and trying too hard. And all I really needed to do was dial it back a little bit and just be myself, and people would like me. Right. There's everyone's going to be different and everyone's going to have different ways of approaching it. But once you kind of find your strengths and can build on that, you'll find your crowd. Right. The other big thing too is make sure that you put yourself out there. Don't shut yourself off. Don't go, oh, well, I'm lonely, so I'm going to stay lonely. You gotta, again, I go back to this so much. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? Like that idea of like, if you want your situation to be different, if you want to get friends, motherfucker, get out there and get on that grind, baby. Figure it out. If you're
friend grind,
dude, if you're socially anxious, find one good friend who can then, someone who you're comfortable with, who can then help you break into that, break out of your shell. You don't have to have 1,000 friends or anything like that. It just starts with one, and then you go from there.
You just need one really good one.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
It's funny how that works. Start with a good one. And we're going to start right here, folks. We're your best friends now.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you
we are
what
your
you
friends.
need to hear. So in the YouTube comments, tell us your latest confrontation, and we're going to tell you how you fucked it up.
Yeah. We'll tell you what the fuck you did wrong.
No, that's a huge factor though, and you really hit the nail on the head about just like part of growing up and maturing is in any friendship, relationship, even with acquaintances, people you disagree with on the street, there's almost never, maybe this is a broad general statement, but there's almost never a situation where you're 100% in the right and the other person is 100% in the wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you have a disagreement with anybody for any reason, really, you need to stop and assess yourself a little bit. And it's almost impossible to do in the moment when you're mad or, sad, spicy, whatever you want to say. It's so hard to do. But it's necessary. That's where, stepping away, taking a breath, getting some space, and don't just blame everything on the other person.
Absolutely.
Take responsibility for your shit.
Responsibility, accountability, all the abilities, take them.
And then you need a good friend willing to tell you when you're venting about how the other person is 100% wrong. That person needs to look at you and go, no. They were a little wrong. You were a little wrong too.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this is another thing I was thinking about is the merit of a really good friend. And this is something I want everyone to kind of take into account, especially, this really only applies to people who play video games. If you play video games with your friends and they're blaming the other team and not you, that's a good friend, right? If they're like, hey man, why weren't you fucking here or whatever, and like meaning it, because here's the thing, it's one thing to be like kind of shit on you got to call your friends out every now and then if they make a dumb play, right? Like, but if they're like, what the fuck, bro, why weren't you there, you're supposed to help me, you're supposed to follow me in, like if they're getting mad at you, not a good friend. But if they're like, bro, why the fuck is this motherfucker taking Scarlet Witch from you, bro? We know that you're the Scarlet Witch main. What the fuck is going on? This guy sucked. Dude, he got 4 kills. Meanwhile, you're like 0-17. But like, you know what I mean?
And it's his fault.
Yeah, it's his fault, bro.
You're doing great.
Fuck that guy. Dude,
this is the exact opposite of what we just said. You said we need a friend to call us on our shit, and then you said, but the best friends will blame other people when it's your fault.
In video games. In real life, it's different. That's the thing. But that's the mark of a true friend. If they blame everyone else, if you surround yourself with yes men, obviously the same shit's gonna happen, right? But if you surround yourself with yes men in video games, it's different.
You'll go far.
I don't know, like because I feel like my friends are gonna be pretty good about being like, what the fuck, man? Why would you do this? Or why would if I were to fuck something up or whatever. But when we play games, it's always the other team's fault. They fucking suck. Or it's always our teammates' fault.
Tank didn't shoot hit. Our healers weren't healing. Bro. That Moon Knight wasn't hitting his ults.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. Friendship is a weird thing, man. Relationships in general. Humans are a weird fucking bunch of beings. I'll tell you what.
That's one of those things. I'm gonna have my boomer moment here.
Hell yeah.
You never stop learning as far as relationships, your friendships, and partners, work, coworkers, acquaintances, everything. Just as you're growing, you're always going to learn more about yourself and about how you deal with other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and here's the thing too, is like if at any point in time you stop for whatever reason, if you stop trying to learn, because you can easily start getting stuck in your ways. You can easily go, you know what, fuck it, I've learned all I can learn and I don't want to learn anymore. That's when,
that's when you really become a boomer.
Yeah, really. That's when, progression stops. And when progression stops, what the fuck is the point anymore? I'm a very strong believer, and it may be because I'm still fairly young and got stars in my eyes and all that shit. I still got a little hope left. I'm a very firm believer. Like if you don't continue to try and inform yourself and try and, learn more, whether it be about the world or about yourself, what the fuck is the point, So
stay on that grind.
Stay on that grind, baby. Friendship grind, knowledge grind, all these grinds, baby. Start grinding.
Self-improvement grind.
Self-improvement. Dude, speaking of self-improvement grind.
I knew you were going to do it. That was a good segue.
Dude, you set me up like crazy. Oh, man. Speaking of self-improvement, how are you been hitting the gym?
Yeah, man. It's been about 5 or 6 weeks now.
Hell yeah.
I've been hitting the gym 2 to 3 times a week. I was in the gym 4 times last week,
Fuck
twice
yeah.
this week so far, and we still got some week to go.
Hell yeah.
Man, it's kind of a funny story, just a little bit, because I originally signed up for a gym membership about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I signed up at this gym, it was like it was some off-brand, like great value gym you never heard of before, but it was $10 a month, bro. And it was good. It was good. And during those first 3 years or 2.5 years, whatever it is, I probably went. I could probably count on 2 hands how many times I actually went to that fucking gym. But within the first year of me signing up, they got purchased and bought out by LA Fitness.
Mm.
And I'd heard that the price went up, but I was grandfathered into the old price.
Hell yeah.
So I never wanted to let it go. Even when I wasn't using it, I was like, but it's such a good deal. The value, man. The cheap ass in me just couldn't let it go.
Hell yeah.
But then recently, I got motivated again, started hitting it. And, dude, it's been so good.
Yeah.
I can't. I might be too early into the process to even explain it, but it just feels so good. There was a couple like hard days in the beginning. There's some soreness. Oh, fucking leg day. Fuck leg day,
Fuck
bro.
legs, dude. It's the worst.
But there's the whole topic, and the reason I put this in there that I wanted to touch on is there's something that happens with my mental health that I can't quite understand yet, but it's good.
Yeah.
And I in my current thought process, I think it is the whole process of it, you know? I change into my clothes, I drive to the gym, I'm pumping some music on the way there to get amped up, whatever. You know, get there, hit the sauna a little bit, you got to get your muscles warm, stretch, do a little cardio, hit the weights, bro, and then I'll hit the sauna on the way out, you know, cool, warm up to cool the muscles off. I don't understand it, but that's what somebody told me to do. Sounds good.
Okay.
And then I drive home and I immediately take a shower. And once I get out of the shower, I'm just like, oh, I feel amazing, dude. I feel so good. And that feeling really carries over into even the next day, where there's been times where I've worked out in the afternoon on, like, you know, a weekday. The next day I go to work and there's dumb shit happening at work. And I just, whatever. That's the way it goes. Who cares? Whereas I feel like previously those exact same situations, like, this dumb bitch, why you bothering me? I got shit to do. You dumb bitch. You know, like really getting angry about it. I don't know if it's a release of energy or I don't know what it is, bro. But seriously, when people say hitting the gym is good for your mental health, I want to confirm.
Yeah. There you go. I know there's science behind the relationship between fitness and mental health. And, you know, there's been plenty of people for whatever reason. I don't know how. I think it's because I got really into like cooking side of like social media, but like on TikTok especially, I'm following a couple different fitness influencers. And there's definitely kind of a interesting relationship between not only like fitness and mental health, but also like food and mental health. Like what you put into your body can deeply affect you. You know, eating right and things like that, which is something that I don't think that we really think about, right? You think, oh, I'm going to eat this because it makes me feel good, or I'm going to eat this because it's, you know, but like there was a period of time, it's a lot more difficult for me now, but there was a period of time where I was like eating salads like every day and just like putting good stuff into my body. I was like, man, I feel something about this. Like my diet, you know, I don't feel so shitty and bloated and fucking awful all the goddamn time, right? So I definitely think like how you treat your body and how you do things and how that, you know, can kind of affect you is something that a lot of people overlook, especially if you're working the 9 to 5, if you're doing the everyday grind, you got kids, you got a life, you got all this shit that you have to balance. Taking care of yourself kind of gets put on the fucking back burner, right? Putting yourself forward to, you know, put that effort in. So I'm fucking glad that you're enjoying it.
Dude, it didn't, you know, it's funny you said, you know, people don't even think about this. And then you said what you put in your body and the food. And I never even thought about that. Because since in this process, in the last month, 6 weeks, whatever it's been 5 or 6 weeks, I have eaten a lot less like fried food and like chips and shit. Because I'll start munching. I'm like, wait, dude, I'm hitting the gym and I'm just wasting it on these Doritos. So I'll put them down.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even occur to me. Like we've had a lot less like fried food and stuff. Huh. Maybe that's why I feel better. Fuck the gym. I'm just going to eat right.
I mean, hey, listen, So the two things that I've learned, and obviously I'm, not a picture of health by any means, but I, from what I can tell, from what these wacky people on the internet are saying, right? There's two really big important things that you kind of need to take away with like in your journey for fitness and for, bettering yourself in terms of like diet and exercise. And there's two big things that I've taken away personally, right? The first one is obviously it's, what you put into your body matters. The second thing is that you should be able to understand, like, you can still eat the shit that you like you can still eat, that bag of chips. You can still eat a fucking chili dog or a slice of pizza. It's about moderation and control and understanding, like having a healthy relationship with these things, right? Because chocolate is always going to be fucking awesome, right? It's, it's finding that cutoff mark, right? Finding that like that moment of like, hey, that's enough, right? It's funny, man, because I was having this conversation with my buddy Justin earlier about moderation and kind of realizing as you get older how important moderation can be, right? And I was talking about that with like drinking. Today, again, if you're 21 or older, you can enjoy a beverage. Be responsible about that. Understand what moderation is. Understand like there's a certain level that you have to there's a certain bar that you have to set, right? Am I going to get a little crazy or am I just going to have a casual drink, right? That's kind of finding balance in everything is a pain in the ass. But as you get older, especially, it becomes a necessity, I think. You know what I mean?
There's a little, I 100% hear what you're saying, agree with what you're saying, but I think with alcohol, it's because, man, people can be real alcoholics.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to tell you, like, if I start having a drink, if I have one drink, I need 2, 3, 4 more. I don't want to stop when I start. So my moderation is, I got to wake up early and go to work tomorrow. We're not starting tonight. And that's I say that I've already had like 2 shots, but that's besides the point. But like, dude, chips, bro. Chips are my kryptonite. Ever since I was a little kid, bro, give me a bag of chips and I will give you a disappeared bag of chips.
Crumply bag floating in the wind.
Yeah. But actually, since I've started hitting the gym, man, it's exactly like I said earlier. I was munching. I had a Super Bowl party, and we had this family economy sized bag of Doritos that I had bought for the little party. And I sat down on the couch with that bag and started digging in. And then at some point, I was like, you know what? Hold on. Wait a second. I'm going to have to do a lot more cardio tomorrow to make up for all these goddamn Doritos. We're going to put the clip back on the bag right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, finding it. Well, and I think going back to what you're talking about with alcohol, I think it's more of, I guess the point I was trying to make more is like, you have to find your level of like, you have to find your bar that you want to set.
You have to understand yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
To understand where you need to set the bar.
Yeah, because everyone's going to be different. For me, it's changed a lot over the years. For me, it used to be, I'm either going to have 1 drink or I'm going to have 12, right? Like there's no in between. I'm either going to have a drink and then I'm cutting it off, or I'm getting shit faced and there's no in between, 0. And yeah, I don't know how or why that changed. I think COVID kind of, when my stomach got fucked up and I had to quit drinking, that was a big thing. That was like, it changed my relationship, not only with food, but with alcohol as well, where I was like, oh shit, I physically can't do this because it hurts, but also, I now have a new perspective on it. And hopefully for a lot of people, it doesn't take that drastic of a change. Hopefully for people, you're able to discover over time, like, oh, maybe this is, I am going to, like portion, like that's the other big thing. Portion control is another thing that I've been seeing like with these fitness influencers where like, if you're a chip addict, man, put it in a bowl, right? That's the bowl. This is your bowl. You're not going to fill this bowl up. You're going to wash this bowl as soon as it's done, but this is the bowl. You're going to eat all those fucking chips in that bowl. But that's the bowl, right? And that's your bowl for the day, the week, however you want to do it. Because definitely you shouldn't, again, from a big thing that I've kind of figured out, and it's something I'm still trying to adjust and adapt to myself, is that like a diet shouldn't be punishment, right? Exercise shouldn't be punishment. It's something that you're not doing it because it's like, oh God, I have to work out or I have to do this thing. obviously it's very easy. Like for me, I'm especially like, I don't want to fucking work out. This shit's a pain in the ass, right? I don't want to have to eat fucking, healthy. This shit sucks. Why do I have to, live longer or whatever? Be healthy and shit. But, you should be able to, and obviously it takes time. It's a journey in and of itself. But it's one of those things you have to work at. But at the same time, it shouldn't be a punishment. It shouldn't be something that you're like dreading every day. And if it is, you need to reevaluate. You need to take a step back and go, how do I do this a little bit differently? How do I approach this differently so I don't fucking hate this, right?
To jump off of that, with me personally and going to the gym, I quickly found if I try to do too much cardio, I'm just pissed and hate it. So I'm like, it's fine. I'm going to hit 10 or 15 minutes, like a brisk walk on the treadmill. That's good. I'll hit the bike, whatever. But if I try to go, if I try to run a mile, like at an actual jogging sprint or whatever, not a sprint, fuck a sprint. But like even just at a good clip, jog, whatever. Like, dude, fuck, this sucks. I hate this. Yeah. I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to the gym. So it's about finding how it works for you. I found out, just a little easier cardio, still get your heart going, still get the thing, do the thing.
Blood flowing. But
then you got to want it, and you got to find what you want out of it. So, I mean, for me, I kind of want, I want a little more muscle, I'm not trying to be The Rock or anything, but I want a little more muscle, and I would like to lose a little flappy parts. And there's something about just doing like strength training, even just like cable machines, just lifting.
Yeah.
And there's a real mental moment, and I think this is what keeps drawing me back, where I set the number, I'm going to do 3 sets of 8 of this at this weight. And when you're getting down to those last couple reps and it's like, I'm not going to make it, but you're like mentally fighting yourself. I'm going to fucking make it. I'm going to do it, baby. And then you do it. And that's the high for me a little bit of like, yeah, I can fucking do that. And then tomorrow I'll add 5 pounds and I'll fucking do it again.
Hell yeah.
You got to find the thing that draws you, that you want to do. And if you don't like running on the treadmill, slow it down or ride a bike, whatever. Yeah. You got to find the thing that works for you. Yeah. Everybody's different.
Everybody is different. Yeah. There's that. I hate this, and it's happened so much with social media where it's like, here's this 15-minute ab burning workout, or here's this 10-minute cardio super go, whatever. Like, it's just like, there may be something that works for you. That 15-minute, ab cruncher might be your workout, but it may not be. And don't get discouraged if it's not, right? You figure out, yeah, exactly right. You really hit the nail on the head. Figure out what works for you. Everyone is different. Both in, exercise and diet, like, the amount of calories that you need. Like one of the things that I've been kind of following, a lot of the fitness influencers that I follow talk about food a lot, which is why I keep going back to food with fitness. And one of the things they talk about is how like your calorie intake is not going to be the same as this other person's calorie intake, right? When people are looking to be in calorie deficits, they talk about the easiest way to lose weight is being in a calorie deficit, you're not getting enough calories. Therefore your body is going to look for other places to get those calories from. There you go. So, and obviously supplementing that with like exercise and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird world. And I've definitely followed a lot of interesting people. People that come off the top of my head are like Scotty Fitness. I think it's Scotty K Fitness. Really cool guy. Been following him on TikTok for a long time. Him and then a guy named, I think his name is fucking Joel. I can't remember his goddamn name, but there's a couple. It's like
Joel.
Yeah, it's like Joel or something. He's a very simple name. But it's like him. It's like a trifecta of these 3 guys that are all just like these really wholesome kind of bodybuilder type. Like they're all like really fucking cut really well. Their bodies, you tell they fucking know what the fuck they're doing, right? But they also come from it from a very realistic standpoint of like, and also a very encouraging standpoint where it's like, you got Scotty who comes at it from this like, very, motivational kind of fatherly figure of like, you got this, man, you can do it. Let's make these recipes together. Let me show you what I'm doing. The other guy, I fucking hate that I can't remember his name. It's not even going to be Joel. It's going to be like Todd or some shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably really wrong, but the other guy is like, he talks more about food and macros And then the third guy is more of a science based, let me debunk what all these other people are saying, because it's like all these people who are just fear mongering about food or exercise or whatever. And so that kind of trifecta is, I've been following them for a while, and it's very interesting to kind of get information from them. And also looking at different like meal prep meals and kind of how to eat in a different way is just very interesting. On the complete opposite spectrum of that, I've also been following Sam Sulek. I don't know if you know who that is. Man, that guy. So Sam Sulek is a now amateur bodybuilder. He was just kind of a fitness influencer. He just actually was in his first show, his first bodybuilding show. I think he like placed first. I think he won the whole, like the division that he was in. But he, dude, I need to show you some fucking pictures. I'm going to actually do, I hate that I have to do this to myself because then I have to edit it in because it's my goddamn work. Fuck. But I'll throw a picture up of like Sam Sulek. He's a
pew pew.
Pew pew. He's a huge fucking guy. I'm going to send you pictures afterwards. Fuck you. I'm going to send them right now. What am I doing? I'll send you a picture of Sam Sulek right now. He's a big motherfucker. Okay. He's just a bulky fucking guy.
Dude, bodybuilder.
Yes.
Did he like shave his whole body and oil himself up?
Yeah, got the tan and everything.
Damn.
This is not his bodybuilding
thing, man.
physique.
It would take me way too long to shave my body. Hairy motherfucker.
This is not his. So I'll put this in Kirby's Worst Nightmares. He's not a lol cow, but
thanks.
Yeah. That's Sam Sulek.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's a big. So the thing about Sam is he's also just like a really wholesome guy. Like as built as that motherfucker is, he's very like calculated in how he talks about things. Extremely intelligent guy. Like in terms of like physicality and working out and like the way that he talks about training. And maybe he's dumb as fuck. I don't know, but to me, he sounds very intelligent. Like the way that he explains his actions, right? The way that he explains the different like muscle groupings, how he's approaching training. And he trains fucking hard. Another guy that I've seen a couple different times has talked about his training regimen. And one of the terms that I learned is called training to failure. And he was talking about the percentages of how much Sam trains to failure. And it's like 96%. So he's pushing himself till he can't go anymore on every rep, every time, right? Or like on every set, every time, not every rep.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. But so anyway, so now, and this guy's young too. Like, how old do you think this guy is, first of all? I can give you a different picture if you want to see like more of his face.
His face looks really young, like early 20s.
Yeah, early 20s. I think he's like 22, I think. Here's a, let me see if this, I'll send you this picture. This is him doing his bodybuilding. He cut off all his hair.
I like the long hair.
Yeah,
kind of looks like a Jonesy from Letterkenny.
I like the long hair too. This is Sam.
Dude, I don't. Oh, that's crazy. What the fuck?
I think
looked like he cooked himself in a microwave, bro.
I think the tan is to help see definition within the muscles. I think that's kind of why they do the tan. Because it allows for you to see the finer tone.
He went past Donald Trump and just like overcooked himself.
Yeah. And they do that intentionally. Like all the bodybuilders do that. It's just to see muscle definition.
Kind of looks like a white guy in blackface.
And that's in the picture on the left. Yeah, he definitely is like, oh, Sam. No, but to me, it's always just really interesting. Like watching this guy, because like he just like showed up on my fucking For You page randomly one day, and he's so interesting. He's so interesting the way that he talks. He has a very like unique cadence, and he's pretty well respected within the fitness world of being the kind of guy that is training to be like to push his limits and go as big as he can, and to be. I don't know if he's trained to be the best, but he's trained to be as big as he can possibly get, right? And he has very clear-cut goals, which is to perform on stage, to be a professional bodybuilder. And I find that very admirable. I think, again, I've talked about this before. Anyone who has a passion for something and speaks about things passionately, I'm always going to be interested in. It doesn't fucking matter what you're talking to me about. Well, it does to an extent. But if you can make it sound interesting, I'm all there for it. So just interesting stuff.
It is, man. That's really cool. Ugh. Yeah, that's too much for me. I don't want to be that veiny. Look at them arms.
Yeah.
But if to have a clear cut goal, I just want to be a stronger version of myself. More stamina for walking around my fucking office all day. Even as that might be the most strenuous thing I do outside of the gym, but
yeah, I think it's have clear. I think anything in life kind of comes down to having clear cut goals, and kind of figuring out, getting down to the bottom of like, what do you want? What do you want in life? What do you want out of whatever you're doing? When it comes to like this podcast, I just want to sit down and have a fucking good chat with my buddy. That's kind of the level that I'm at, right? Doesn't have to be millions of people watching us. That'd be cool, but it doesn't have to be. I'm cool with 10 people watching us.
As long as they're not mean.
Yeah. As long as they're all 1 million people better be fucking nice, or else I'll be very upset. But yeah, man, I think having, like I said, clear-cut goals in life goes a long way, because you can wing a lot of stuff, but man, having a clear-cut, here's what we're going for, makes things a lot easier.
It's a little bit of a trick. It's easier said than done.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's easy in life to, not even just speaking about like the gym, but almost anything in life, you can set your goal to an impossible level and then you'll never achieve it and you'll feel like a failure.
Yeah.
Even if you do amazing and get so close, it can still leave you feeling like a failure because you didn't hit the goal you set. Mm-hmm. So like intelligent goal setting is really the key.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's kind of a thing for me personally with content creation. I had to really have that awakening of like, I'm not gonna, or at least right now, I'm not gonna be, because when I was streaming, especially when I got an RP, I was getting really big raids and then I was getting growing viewership, and that felt really good. And I felt like if I had, I always look back in hindsight, be like, man, if I had been more consistent, or if I had decided to do this or do that or whatever, take this path or whatever, that maybe things would have been different. At the same time, I look back and go, man, if I had set way more realistic goals, I would have been a lot happier. It wouldn't have been something that became a stressor, and it would have instead been something that I do very casually. Right. But hindsight's always 20/20. That's the thing that fucking sucks.
For sure. And I mean, time, you're not out of time.
Yeah, true.
If you really decided right now or tomorrow, whatever, that you want to get back into it, it's always there for you, man.
Yeah. I think right now it's harder for me to justify streaming when I'm working on this video, that I've been working on for the past couple days, weeks, months.
I'll tell you something that's been said to me recently about the gym, and it applies to what you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
No excuses, bitch.
Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, funnily enough, the video that I'm working on, knock on wood,
is all about fitness.
It's all about...
in your journey to become a bodybuilder.
Yes, it's all about so this podcast was actually recorded. I'm doing a Nikocado avocado. This podcast was recorded 3 years ago. Here's the reveal. Just a Sam Silk insert.
Now in the edit, you bump that out and just put The Rock.
Yeah. It's just The Rock. It's just a picture of The Rock for the rest of the fucking podcast.
Gotta make it like wiggle, like in South Park, like it's talking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go through that much fucking effort. I'm too lazy. No, man. I'm gonna try. I really am gonna try. But I want, because this video, man. I'll tell you what. I think any content creation, anything that you work on in life, any like personal projects or anything that you work on, eventually you're gonna hit a point in that project where you go, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. And that's where I'm at with this video. Because I have everything edited and I have all the music picked out. Now I got to do all the vocal stuff, and that shit sucks.
Nah, you got this.
Yeah, I will say I spent the other day, one of the days when I was recording, I spent 2 hours recording a 1-minute intro. Yeah.
That's way worse than you do for this podcast. It only took you like 8 minutes to get it right
Yeah.
today.
It's really hard. Like I figured out like, man, it's actually really hard for me when I'm not, cause I think doing role play like I have done in the past, it's really easy for me to be like, let me pause for 15 seconds before I say something, but like whatever the most impactful thing that I can say right then and there is, right? Or whatever fucking decides to come out of my mouth. Versus I have all this time to make this right. You know, I think about when I used to paint, and painting was really unhealthy for me, I think, because I am not good at being okay with things. I'm not good with just leaving things as they are. And really the only time any of my paintings ever got finished was when I ran out of time working on them. Like in college, I painted and I actually really enjoyed it up until there was, the fact that there was a time crunch on there, right? And the moment that time crunch came on there, and the moment that it was like, you have to have this done by a set time, all of a sudden it became this thing where it was like, fuck, man, I can't do this. Like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to do that, whatever. And so that's when things started for me being like, I don't like painting anymore, right? It's just stressful. It just makes me think of like the time crunch that I'm on. That being said, I haven't gone back to painting in a long time, but that's kind of how this project is feeling recently, where it's like, man, I feel like I have all this time to make it right, but no time at all, right? Because I want things to happen and I want it to be done by this certain time. At the same time, fuck, man, I need to add these little things, and I want things to be, there's so much more that I could do. My girlfriend said something really important to me, which was, don't get lost in perfection, basically, is what she said.
That's
and I was like,
exactly what I was thinking. I might mess up the phrasing of this, but what I've heard is don't lose greatness chasing perfection.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing, man. I have to think about this realistically. I'm making what will likely be an hour-long detective noir style gameplay video that like 12 people are going to watch. And I'm putting this much effort into it. You know what I mean? I have to think about this. I have to really, that's how I've kind of justified being like, I need to start being okay with this. Right. Because I want to just get it done. I want to see what the final product would look like. Cause I think otherwise I'll just keep being like, no, I need another week. I need another week. No, I'm at the point now where I need like 2 good days of doing vocal recording and then throw the music on there and call it a day. Cause
slap it on the ass and kick it out the door.
Yeah, that's right. So
that video will be released before episode 20 in 2 weeks.
Hey, that's a great timeline. I was going to say it was going to be, I was going to say Sunday, but yeah, that would work too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then right at the start of our next extra special episode, you can slide a little promo in there,
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, actually.
Get them views up from 12 to 18.
Hell yeah. Actually, okay, there you go. So I'll tell you what, I'll make this promise right now. This gives me a little extra time to work on it. I legitimately was going to be like, fuck it. I'm putting it out Sunday. I don't give a fuck anymore, right? But I think that gives me a little extra time, gives me a little bit more wiggle room. It gives me a little bit more motivation. For sure date, Sunday or Saturday, the Saturday of, or the Sunday. I don't know if it'll be Saturday or Sunday. I'll figure out the day. But the weekend of the 20th episode, my fucking video will come out. There you go.
All right, and then just to add a little extra work, you need to make a little trailer that we'll throw in to episode 20.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'll do it. I think I kind of could take a portion of the intro of the video. It's funny too. I really need to shout out my girlfriend and how much I love her, because she has been my little like storyboard with this thing, where like, so I guess to give some context, my dad has always been big into like making phone calls and talking on the phone. I am also now I'm going to call you and talk to you on the phone. Right. I do it with my best friend. I do it with my girlfriend. I do it with any friend that has told me that they're okay with me calling them. Right. Which is not many. Most people are like, don't fucking call me, just text me.
Yeah, don't call me.
Don't fucking call me. Yeah, it's usually like we can talk on Discord, and that's about as close as it gets. But with both my parents and my girlfriend, my best friend, I call them, right? Or they call me, one or the other. But for my girlfriend especially, I call her like multiple times a day. God bless her, because she has to deal with my ass calling her over the dumbest shit, right? Sometimes it's like an actual conversation. 9 times out of 10, it's about like poops and farts, right? You know what I mean? Just that's, but then lately it's been me talking to her about like my video and like, again, kind of storyboarding it and like being like, this is kind of what I'm thinking about with this. And like, she just listens. She'll have some input here and there, but like for the most part, she's just like listening to me fucking like ramble like a crazy, like this is the only Sunny and that I've thing that I'm gonna make, which is like, the cork board that Charlie does. That's me. Like I'm thinking about
There
it's gonna
is
be like
no
this.
Pepe Sylvia.
Yeah, it's gonna be like this is how I'm gonna do the intro, but then I'm gonna voice and then I'm gonna do like this and just whatever. And so that's kind of how it's been. So shout out to her. Hailers is the best. Oh man.
We love her.
We love, dude. She's
Leave the
shit.
mean comments for us and compliment Haley.
She's fucking awesome. I really genuinely don't deserve her. Goddamn. She's the shit. Speaking of Hailers, I want to talk about Small Worlds. So my girlfriend, little side note, little side journey. My girlfriend,
come with us
on this mythical journey about people that none of you know.
But they know each other.
They know each other. So, my girlfriend and Kirby's wife are good friends that play games together. In fact, as we are recording currently, they are playing games right now. So, my girlfriend went to a Galentine's thing, which if you don't know what a Galentine's is, it's just when girlfriends get together and they celebrate kind of like around Valentine's. It's, it's kind of like Friendsgiving. It's that sort of event, right? Friends get together, celebrate each other, have fun. It's Valentine's Day themed. And so she went to a Galentine's event, and I remember her texting me and she was like, yeah, I'm not really going to stay for very long because I'm already kind of tired. And she just doesn't do well in like big social events, whatever. And she got there and the first text that she sent me was, oh my gosh, Anna's here. And I was like, yeah, that's great. Because it means that I know, like, she was at her best friend's house. But it's still one of those things where it's like, it's that extra step of being like, you have another person that's there that you can be like, yeah, this is great. And so she had an even better time than she already knew that she was going to have. And so that was really cool. So, but it's just a small fucking world, man. Because I know that when we had the pumpkin painting party back in October, God, I fucking love saying that. When we were there, a mutual friend of Anna knew Haley because of another mutual. And it's just like, I don't know. I shouldn't be surprised anymore because my dad's the kind of guy to go out into a town and just know fucking everybody. But it's always weird. It's always weird to me thinking about the connections that people have and how people are drawn together. You know what I mean? That's something that I'm always like, damn, that's kind of wild. You know what I mean?
We come across these small world kind of scenarios like regularly in our lives, not frequently, but regularly. Mm-hmm. I think we all do, where you find out that one person knows another person through some completely off means that you had no idea about.
Yeah. Oh,
and that's what happened there.
You know my best friend's wife because you used to work with her. Do I need to say her name and I'll blur? It's
yes.
Fucking what? God damn, what's her face? Oh shit, I can't remember her name right now. Oh shit.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
I can't think of her name. Kim.
Yeah.
I'll block that out. But yeah, you know Kim.
Okay.
So,
and that's just a completely small world thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like your best friends or your friend's friend married a person that I worked with, and it's all that.
Yep.
But what I wanted to say is what really opened my eyes to the small world thing is working in the IT industry as I work in,
mm-hmm.
and going from one big company here in Dallas to another big company. And I was told by one of my old directors that you should always network with everybody you meet in this field, because it's a small world and you're going to run into these people again. I promise you'll run into these people again. And when he first said that, I was like, okay, there's 1 billion people in this city and whatever.
Yeah.
But then I moved from that company over to another one. And time again, even just the other day, somebody will just making conversation ask like, oh, where'd you work before here? And I'll tell them, it's like, oh, I know this person over there. I just had lunch with this guy over here. Do you know this guy? And I'm like, yeah, I know that guy. I texted that guy yesterday. And the small world thing, it's wild how many people are in the world and how small it can feel sometimes.
Absolutely. It is really weird how, you can go. It's funny too. So like my girlfriend, at one point in time was friends with a guy that I went to high school with. And that's like, again, I was like, you know, this guy, like, that's crazy. Why do you know him? Or how do you know him? Or like, you know, cause it's not like they went to the same school or were even in the same, you know, kind of area, but just through the scenes that they were in, through the music that they liked, through kind of the friends that they hung out with, you know, you just end up making these connections. And that's I don't know how, you know, there's definitely something cosmic at play or some shit, some sort of crazy, you know, space energy manipulating the threads of, you know, human existence or whatever. I don't fucking know. But there's something
Doctor
about
Strange.
You say cringe?
I said it's Doctor Strange.
Oh. I thought you were like, that's cringe. That's fucking cringe that there's energies and shit.
Well, that too.
Oh fuck. I don't know. I always find it really funny when stuff like that happens, when it's like, oh, small world. Like it's just such a weird little like who'da thunk, you know? Who'da thunk? I fucking wouldn't.
That's why we always need to try and be and present the best versions of ourselves, because you might run into somebody who knows you, that knows your best friend, that knows your mom. That you know, small world.
Small fucking world. Goddamn. That's weird how fucking full circle, baby. we like to keep it in circles. What the dude? Tyler said the fucking funniest thing. Like, dude, that I love Tyler so much. He has such a fucking way of putting things. But he said history is a flat fucking circle. Just fucking killed me, man. Oh man, I've been using that nonstop since he said it. I love that so much. Ooh, fuck. Oh man, that is fucking great. Speaking of Tyler, the reason that he said that is because we started getting into Deadlock. What have you been playing, man? I feel like I need to ask. I know the answer, but what have you been playing?
You already know the answer. I have played nothing but Rocket League and Marvel Rivals. Probably in 2025, that might be all I've played so far.
Yeah.
It was really killer last week because Bubba Gump went on vacation for a whole week, and I just didn't have a twos partner in Rocket League. You know, I just sit down on my computer each night, shed one singular masculine tear, and then I just play Marvel.
I forgot that he went to Disney. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, Disney.
I need to ask him. What do you know if it was his first time going or not?
That I don't know. But I know one of the highlights that he mentioned to me was at 2 separate times they waited like an hour in line to go on a ride. And then when they started getting up to the front, they were like, all right, ride's closed for maintenance. Fuck off, everybody. And one of them was the Tron ride that he was so excited for.
Oh, man. It always sucks when you're like excited to ride something. And then all of a sudden,
that's the one that'll get fucked up.
Yeah.
For sure.
I went to Disney World when I was 18 with my best friend and his brother-in-law. And that was fucking awesome. I was about to say something really fucked up. I need to preface this. It's not awesome. That I feel like I'm gonna. Me saying this is gonna get me. This is how the podcast gets ruined.
Let's go.
I'm gonna preface this by saying it's a horrible thing that his brother-in-law has a disability, right? That sucks. But if you go to Disney World with a disability, you get the fastest of passes. And so we got to the front of every fucking line, and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
I was trying to...
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
It's not. You didn't do anything wrong.
The way that I was gonna say it initially was horrible.
How were you gonna say it initially?
I don't even remember. I just know I blocked it out of my brain. I think I was gonna say something about like, thank God for my brother, for my best friend's brother-in-law's disability.
And cancel.
Yeah. I think that's how I initially was, but I was like, I need to take a minute to like word this correctly, right? No.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes the verbal diarrhea needs to be held in for just a slight moment, right?
Just plug it for a moment.
But no, it was fucking awesome, man, because we went around like shortly after I graduated. It was the same year that I graduated that we went. And oh man, it was awesome because we went, and not only did we do that, but we got to go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, which is even more fucking awesome. And I was a fucking horrific 18-year-old obnoxious fuck. So I was, of course, an obnoxious fuck at Universal Studios, as you are, right? But man, it was one of the best times that I've ever had. Got to go with my fucking best friend. It was just awesome. It was an all around, like, just a fucking awesome trip, right? Just a fucking cool experience. Definitely recommend if you have the ability to, if you ever have the opportunity to make a trip like that and go to someplace like Disney World, fucking do it, dude. Fucking do it. At least once, you know? It's definitely like the theme park of theme parks where it's like, fuck man, you're waiting in line and shit sucks, whatever. But it can be kind of awesome, you know? Even just being there, you know?
I've never had any experience with a Disney, Universal, nothing like that.
Make the if you can. If you can't, I completely understand. I know that the world is a crazy place right now. It can be kind of hard to set the time and money aside, but if you have the opportunity to, absolutely take it. It's one of those things that, like, just to experience it once, and you have to, like, if you're going to Disneyland, you can do that for a day. If you're going to Disney World, you need like a week. Right? You need like a full week to go to because there's like 5 different parks to go to. So it's a whole fucking experience, man. I haven't been since like Disney bought, Star Wars and all these other, fucking things. But when I went, it was still fucking awesome. And like I said, Universal was awesome too. Like it was just a really cool experience. Fuck Florida for all the humidity. Holy fucking shit. That place is awful. But Disney World was the shit. Definitely an awesome experience.
We should just hit up Sarah in accounting and see if we can expense a trip to Disney World for us.
Absolutely.
We'll make some content out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll film. We'll put some videos up that should cover all the revenue that we'll be spending. I think we'll recover it all from the vlog.
For sure.
Yeah.
Easily.
One of these days. Dude, if for whatever reason we have to get an accounts manager, we need to desperately look for a Sarah. We need to so desperately look,
Sarah.
Dude. First thing on the application, your name Sarah? Yeah, better. You got a middle name, Sarah? Huh?
Need a certified accountant.
We need a certified
Sarah.
We need a certified Sarah.
A certified Sarah.
Holy shit.
Well, we better start being more funny.
That's so difficult. Holy shit. There's been so many times, man, when like going back to like when I would stream, there's been so many times when I would stream and it's just dead fucking, like, especially when I first started, just dead fucking air, just nothing, whole nothing burger for like an hour of just me like focusing on the game that I'm playing rather than like thinking about the entertainment factor of it all. I've definitely, I feel like, learned now how to fill that dead air even with like 0 fucking viewers.
You just start making random sounds.
Yeah.
Yippee!
Yippee! What the fuck did you do at the beginning?
It was a fucking hiccup, man.
I don't know what the fuck you were doing. Fucking getting possessed by demons and shit.
There was a demon bullfrog in my room.
Yeah, hell yeah. What a wild experience to have. Most people get possessed by just like normie fucking ghosts. You're getting like sick fucking animals possessing you.
Bullfrogs specifically.
Fuck yeah. Bullfrogs are bullfrogs the one that give you... Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of Disney.
Oh, I thought you were going to go, speaking of bullfrogs, I was about to start talking about warts. I think your topic will be way better.
Speaking of Disney, Disney owns a small indie company by the name of Marvel. And Marvel just released a new movie
Yeah.
that I went and saw.
Oh, yeah.
Captain America, Brave New World.
Hell yeah. How was it?
And I gotta tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what was going on in the beginning.
Okay.
But ultimately, I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And I want to preface that after the fact by saying I think that my standards for movies are very, very low. I'm just saying there's been many times where I've watched a movie, specifically in a theater, and I'll come up and like, ah, it was pretty good. And then you see the reviews online, you're like, most dog shit movie ever created. I'm like, oh, okay. So I've seen mixed things about Captain America, but aside from the fact that, first of all, I don't know anything about Marvel after the first Avengers movie.
That's hilarious.
I've never seen Thanos in a movie. I don't know what he's about. He's got a glove. He snaps.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Everybody dies. Half people die. Don't know anything about Wakanda. Black Panther. Dude, what's that guy all about? I don't even know. A lot of these shows. Scarlet Witch, dude. All I know is that's one of the Olsens. That's all I know. And
That's all you really need to know.
so going in, both me and my wife are whispering back and forth like, wait, where's the regular Captain America? And there's a whole large chunk of the storyline is about
Oh,
I think it's Thaddeus Reed,
Okay.
played by Indiana Jones.
Harrison Ford. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what this guy's hunting Hulks. What the fuck does that mean? I don't even know. What are they talking about?
Hell yeah.
But ultimately enjoyable, and I left that theater wanting to go home and play Captain America on Marvel Rivals because Captain America's pretty fucking badass, dude.
Fuck yeah.
He's got I don't want to spoil anything. Dude, there's one part of the movie I want to talk about so bad, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody because it's so cool. And I had no idea it was coming.
Hell yeah.
But he has like the new his name is Sam
Yes.
something.
He used to be the
and
Falcon.
he used to be Falcon.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And he was like BFFs with
Cap.
Steve.
Yep.
And then now Steve died?
Do you want me to just tell you what happened?
If it's not going to spoil anything for anybody.
I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame by now, tough fucking shit. Because God, that movie came out like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
me. I
fuck?
haven't seen it. What happens?
So at the end of Endgame, to give you a kind of a synopsis, they decide that because they need the stones to make the glove to then snap, because the first snap took half the people out, right? In Avengers, I can't remember the fucking whatever the one before Endgame was. There's too many goddamn
Infinity
Avengers.
War?
Huh?
Was it Infinity War?
Infinity War, yes, thank you. So in Infinity War, at the end of Infinity War, they lose. My favorite ending in modern movies. I love when people
and Thanos
lose.
snaps.
Thanos snaps. They fucking lose. Half people die. Gone. The end of the end of the next movie, they snap, bring everybody back. Kind of lame, but whatever. So the way that they get to do the snap, because Thanos destroys the original stones, is they have to go back in time to other timelines to then borrow those stones. And then Steve Rogers is like, hey, brother, listen, I am going to go and take all these stones back, put them back at exactly the moment that we took them, so nothing in the timeline gets fucked up, right? That's not how time works, but that's besides the point.
No. It's a flat circle, so go on.
It's a flat fucking circle. So Steve leaves and he comes back, but he comes back and he's all old and shit because he found Peggy and stayed with her and grew old with her. That's not how time works. We don't fucking ask questions. Okay? That's not how time works. It's just
his love, I
yes,
assume?
Peggy. So if
Peggy?
from the first, did you watch the first Captain America?
Yes.
You remember the
Do I remember it? No.
Remember the British lady? Okay. There's a British lady in there. Her name is Peggy. That's who Cap loves. It's his first love.
Cool. He got to spend his time with his love.
Spends his life with his love, right? He comes
Aw.
back, right? And you would think, and I think in the comics both has happened, where Bucky gets the shield, but then also Sam gets the shield, who's the Falcon, right? I think both have happened.
Bucky shows up in the new movie. Just saying.
Good, as he should, because they had a whole show called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is where the Falcon becomes actually Captain America, right? But with the new thing, right? At the end of the movie Endgame, Steve gives Sam the shield and goes, "I think you should hold this for a while," thus passing the mantle to Captain America. And then in the show, it goes through the process. I'm not going to spoil any of that, but it goes through the process, and at the end of the show, he fully becomes Captain America. And so that's kind of the whole thing.
And that's where the Wakandans give him the super cool armor and wings and stuff.
I don't know about that. I mean, I assume that happens eventually because, you know. So,
okay, well, at the beginning of the new movie, he shows up and he's got these sick purple wings that fly
and
cool. Like make him a shield.
Did they say that he got them from Wakanda?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He said it was a gift from Wakanda.
Oh, so that's probably just like a thing. It's probably just to make him really strong because the shield is made of whatever shit.
Yeah, because another little bit of the movie is he's like, oh, I should have taken the super soldier serum like they did, so I'd be powerful enough to do all this. And then Bucky is actually like, no, you're cool, guy, whatever. But dude, the suit was cool, man.
Yeah.
He fights the Red Hulk, dude. It was cool. Dude, there's one scene that really it was the moment where I leaned over my wife and I was like, Captain America's so cool, dude. he's fighting these fighter jets up in the sky, and he just like plays chicken with one, flies right at it, and then turns himself and uses the wing of his suit to just slice the wing off the airplane, and then it starts out of control.
Fuck yeah.
So I don't know what the critics have to say about it, but I'm just saying I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun time.
It reminds
Captain America's really fucking cool. Play him on Marvel Rivals if you don't already, because he's badass.
Hell yeah. Your review reminds me of my best friend, his uncle. The way that my best friend would describe it is the way that his uncle watches movies is if you ask him if the movie was good, he goes, the graphics were really good, and that's how he differentiates if a movie was good or not, if it looks good. That's what that reminds me of. Hey, it looked fucking good. Hell yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Dude, my thing, so like I know I've mentioned this before, my wife always wants to watch horror movies.
Yeah.
And I will sit down and I'll watch this whole fucking movie, and they're like, ooh, spooky, scary things are happening. Ooh, it's spooky and scary. And then right at the end, they're like, oh, here's the conclusion. It was ghosts the whole time. And then the credits roll. And it just infuriates me. I'm like, it's not an explanation. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I hate this. That movie was stupid. So basically, as long as a movie doesn't do something like that to me, I'm like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Kept me entertained for an hour and a half.
My girlfriend is the same way, where she likes horror movies. She especially likes really shitty horror movies. She loves like really fucking dog shit ass movies. I don't know what it is, man. She just like
I'd be more inclined to watch like a really shitty campy movie, because at least you know, and the people making it know. But when they take it so seriously, this is the scariest spooky demon ghost movie you've ever seen. And then at the end, they're just like, it was spooky ghost the whole time.
Silly spooky ghost. Yeah, I don't know. But so, man, one of the movies that we watched was Hereditary. And have you seen Hereditary?
If I have, I don't remember it.
Okay. I won't spoil it, but the way that they end the movie, I will spoil kind of how they do it, where basically they go through the whole process, right? You get to the very ending of the movie, and then there is I'm pretty sure it's a text. Yeah, it's a text explanation of what just happened. And I was like, fuck this movie, right? Like, it's one thing if I go like, what just happened, right? Like, oh man, that's crazy. And then I go and like watch a video for an explanation. They just throw up like, here's what happened.
And then
Fuck
the credits
you.
roll.
Yeah. And then credits roll. It's like, are you fucking... Either that or it was like a narration. I can't remember if it was narration. I need to go back and watch the ending.
They ran out of budget, bro.
Dude, it ruined the whole... No, that's the thing, is they didn't. They could have just ended the movie. They literally could have just like nothing else in the movie. It would have been the perfect... It would have been the one horror movie that I would go, I would watch that again because it was fucking crazy. Like... In terms of being scary and having a really good story and just having a really good, like, the way that it ends is fucking crazy. if you cut off like the last 5 minutes, it's a fucking fantastic movie. And then you throw in the last, like, let me explain to you exactly what happened and why this ended up like fuck you. I don't want to know. Leave a little bit of mystery. What the fuck? Let me figure it out for myself. I hate that.
I can't decide if I like that or not. Maybe I need to check it out
You
because it
need
almost
to-
sounds to me like it would end in a stupid way that would piss me off. But then they explained it to where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess
No,
at least there's a conclusion here.
it ends in such a way that if you it's one of those movies that, like, if they had ended it without the explanation, it would be one of those movies where when you watch it a second time, you notice so much more and you realize so much more, and everything kind of makes a lot more sense, right? Where there's so much deeper of there's so many layers to it, right? Versus like them being like, on a silver platter, here's exactly what happened, right? That shit just pisses me off, right? I think, yeah,
Okay.
that sort of thing, when somebody handholds you through a fucking movie, fuck you. I hate that, Just let me fucking guess. Let me kind of make my own interpretations. One of the movies that we watched recently, my girlfriend and I, we watched The Platform 1 and 2. And not super, like, it was like, okay, it's a
Is that the one where there's like people on levels and the food falls down? Okay.
it's
I think I've
yeah.
seen bits of it.
The first one I liked a lot more than the second one. The second one was like, so the second one's a prequel, but it's okay. But the thing that I liked, the main thing that I really liked about the movie, at least what it did is it allows interpretation to happen at the end. You can interpret it in multiple ways, right? You can take the ending of the movie. I'm fine with things being clear cut and ending, the people win or people lose or whatever, if things are, clear cut, that's fine. I also really, really enjoy when an ending to a movie allows for great interpretation. When you can look at this and it could mean a whole slew of things, right? It could, the whole thing could have been meaningless, or it could have been this very deep, meaningful thing, or it could have been, a number of things. Maybe I'm just fucking picky, but I want more sometimes.
I'll tell you one that I really enjoyed, and I cannot remember. I think it's called The Boy,
Okay.
or maybe The Doll. I don't remember. But I'm just going to spoil this for you. Sorry, everybody. I don't know how old it is. It's a horror movie, and there's like a woman, and she has a kid, and there's this creepy little doll that comes into play in their house.
Okay.
And then it's all spooky, haunted, weird shit's happening all around the house for the whole movie, whatever. And then at the very end, you find out that all the spooky shit was caused by a man that was living in the walls of this house. And that really stuck with me because it was one of the few horror movies where all the spooky shit happens, but then at the end there's like, well, here's what actually happened. It was this fucking weird guy in the wall the whole time.
Fucking hell.
And I kind of loved that. I was like, good. You know what? That explained everything. That ended it. Good conclusion. Cool. 2 thumbs up from me.
Fuck yeah. That kind of reminds me of, have you ever seen Parasite?
No, but my wife has told me to watch it 100 times.
I'm not even going to go on further. There's an aspect of Parasite that is, it takes from what you were just talking about, which is already giving you too much. But man, you need to watch fucking, how have you not seen Parasite, dude? Parasite's a great fucking movie. I was watching this thing, this video that was talking about how Parasite was the only movie that year where it won in like 3 different award shows, or not 3 different award shows, 3 different websites rated it like the best movies, like IMDb and then Rotten Tomatoes and whatever. Like all 3 of them were like, this is the fucking movie. Whereas like every other year, it's like, this is the best movie, or it's like what won at the Oscars, what won on IMDb, and then what won, and it's just kind of giving you different perspectives. Parasite was the one that is the only one where every fucking, in all categories, every year, this is the fucking movie for this year. And it's a great movie, man. It's a killer movie. I love it.
Okay. All right. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
There's just so many things to watch and so little time.
Yeah. I get that, man. I get that. I recently...
Oh,
go ahead.
I was sorry. I was going to say, dude, I started watching X-Men 97 recently.
Yeah? Hell yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through it and just cooking, man. It's so good.
Yeah, my buddy, a good friend of mine, I went over to his house one day when it first came out, and he's been like, yeah, man, I've been watching this, and we watched a couple episodes. It's like, Fuck yeah, this is awesome. Like it's definitely a hit of nostalgia for sure, where it's like, man, this is fuck yeah. It's
But
the
it's
shit.
but it's so modern. I
Yeah.
vaguely remember
Yeah.
watching the original show when I was like 7, but it was never my favorite or anything. But then hearing the theme song kicking at the beginning of the episode, I was like, oh, I'm 7 again.
Dude, so classic, dude. Oh man, a good theme song really will fuck you up. Oh man. That's yeah, man, in terms of watching shit, I've been I actually, funnily enough, this is actually gonna come to a shock to a lot of regular listeners. I've been putting SVU on the back burner. Yeah,
Whoa, what?
I took a break because I'm in between seasons. Like where I'm at right now, I think I just started in a new season, so I'm like, it's a good time to like. I think I'm on like season 15. I think it's a good time to like. I'm still like,
Jeez.
don't get me wrong. I need to know what happens to Benson. I'm getting caught up. Don't get it twisted. But I was like, there's just been something in my brain that's like, man, I just want to watch movies, man. I don't want to watch because here I think a big thing about it is too is that once I get started on SVU, it's all I want to do. I'm just gonna watch episode after episode. I want to know what the fuck happens. Okay. I want to know the next whatever they're gonna solve.
So at least when you watch a movie, there's a start, middle, end.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that to me helps because then I can go, oh man, we're done. Now I can either do something else or watch another movie. But I've also been watching something. I've been watching anime, which I haven't done in a long time, and it's been really cool to go back and watch anime again because it's like, oh, I forgot how much I love this shit. You know what I mean? It's funny when you take a break from something or when you step away from a show or from a game or whatever, and you revisit it and you go, oh man, I forgot how much excuse me, I forgot how much I love this. I forgot how cool this was. And yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I think you gotta take the little time to make time for the shit that you enjoy, right? You gotta take a moment, manage your time the best you can, but take a little time and do some wacky shit, you know? Watch an anime, watch a show you've been meaning to watch or something.
Watch a little, go back to the original X-Men, get your hit of nostalgia.
There you go.
Yeah, episodes are only 20 some odd minutes long.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's definitely, but I do get what you mean though with like, I look at the watch list that Haley and I have for like for each individual streaming service, Netflix, Hulu, and fucking Disney Plus.
Oh my God, y'all have a shared list?
Well, I just use her list to, I just add to her list. So she has a list.
You're talking about, okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about on Netflix.
On that, yeah. Not like
when you said this, I was like, oh no, they have like an app.
No, hell no.
Don't tell my wife.
So my girlfriend has a full blown like list of horror movies and just, I think it's mostly just horror movies, but movies in general that she wants to watch. But then she also has, like on Netflix, she has stuff that she's added. I have stuff that I've added. Same with Amazon, where we have movies that we add to the list. Be like, oh, let's watch this later. And eventually we get around and watch it, not always, but we get around to watching stuff. She's also just not as into watching shows as I am and like into the shows that I want to watch. Which is fine. I think we have different tastes in media and in what we enjoy, which is fine. It's not going to kill us. It's not going to, whatever. You can, the one thing that I hate when I look at like social media-esque, sorry for the mic, the social media-esque, relationships they talk about. We do everything together and we do all this. It's like, fuck that. That's lame. Don't do all this. Don't do everything together. That sucks. Don't spend all of your time with your partner. It's cool to spend a bunch of time with them. And you need to make time. That's a healthy aspect of the relationship, but have your own fucking shit that you're into, right? Have your own taste, be your own person. Otherwise, fuck that.
Yeah, I think every relationship should have shared activities and solo activities.
Yeah. It's an important aspect of it where, yeah, if you're doing everything together, what you're at that point, you're not yourself. You're not an individual. You are a unit. which is
Become
fine.
one
Yeah.
two-headed beast.
Yeah. And that's fine if that's the way that you want to live. There's no fucking way I could do that. You know, it's the same way with like, so with how my girlfriend and I, whenever we're traveling anywhere, if we're in the car, either my music's playing because she's driving or because I'm driving, or we go back and forth between songs, right? Or her music's driving because I'm just like, whatever, or not
We
driving.
do 2
Is
songs on our car rides.
Okay. Ours is one and, you know, back and forth. So, and then we do have songs that we like together where it's like, okay, we'll listen to this and it counts as like both of our songs. Right. But man, I just can't fucking deal with like, I think a big part about it is, I don't know, I think I've talked about this before. I fucking hate her music tastes. Dude, I hate it. I've told her, I'm like, I'm just not a fan. I will bump my music and I have a big variety of music that I like to listen to. Her music, I'm just like, I love you, girl, but for not your music tastes.
Dude, the thing with my wife is she knows I'm a little picky about music. Specifically, if you get into metal and tell me like this is a good metal song, there's got to be some aspects to it. They've got to tick some boxes for me to want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And she will try so hard. Like, you're going to love this one. I'm like, this sucks ass, babe.
Oh, shit.
There's one band that she's really, it's called Hanabi. And it's like these little Japanese girls in a metal band. And she was like determined I'm going to like them. But even in their cooler, heavier songs, they still got to pop off with their little anime squeaks. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that in my music.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's fine. You know, we'll listen to it on the car ride if that's what you want to listen to. I can live. But if you hand me the phone and tell me to play something, it's not that.
Yeah. It's it's a weird thing. Music for me is such an impactful thing, and I have a very large variety of music that I listen to. It amazes me that like the core of what I like is not at all what my girlfriend likes. You know, I pick such an opposite person in terms of like the media that we absorb, and the music that we like and shit like that. Like the movies that we like, complete fucking opposites. I hate horror. She loves horror. She's really into like industrial music and shit like that. I don't know how the fuck she does it, because I'm like, I listen to some of the music that she listens to. I'm like, listen, I love you. Like I'm usually, if she picks a song, I can usually be like, okay, that's fine, whatever. There are times when she's put music on and I'm like, I love you so much. You need to change it. I can't listen to it. It's something about like, it does something to my fucking brain where I'm like, no, thank you. And she will just listen. I think she just tunes it out. I don't know what she does, but she'll listen to anything that I put on. I don't know how, but
you know, my wife's kind of the same way, honestly. She really I know one specific time one of my favorite bands released a new album, and I got a little obsessive with this album, and I don't think I listened to anything but this album for like at least a solid month. And every time she would get in the car with me, I was just thinking, like, is this the time she's going to be like, that's enough of this fucking album? But she never has. Never once.
Hell yeah.
What I'm blessed. What an angel.
Hell yeah. Damn. What a life to live. Find you a person that is okay with you listening to the same album for a month in the car. That's
right.
That's real love right there. God damn.
And then honestly, even to this day, sometimes just on my Spotify shuffle, the same song will come up and I'm like, I wonder if she's immediately already sick of it.
Oh shit. This will be the day.
Find you a good friend who will be honest with you.
Yep.
Tell you the shit you need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Find you a good partner who has opposite media tastes as you, but puts up with you. And communicate with them. Both the partner and the friend. Communicate.
Yeah, communication is fucking alpha. We've already established that.
Communication is alpha.
We've already established that. God damn. I feel like, funnily enough, I wanna start to wrap up here. But funnily enough, I feel like you and I mean, like within this whole
as a couple?
podcasting thing. What?
As a couple, you and I?
Yes, as a couple, you and I. with the way that our relationship has developed as boyfriend and boyfriend, um, with the way that this podcast has developed, I'm really happy to kind of watch us kind of grow, and to, obviously there's times where we can kind of we sort of touch on things that we've already talked about in the past, which is fine. But I always find it interesting, like thinking about how we've grown, right? Like I really want to kind of have one day where we do a watch party. Maybe we can get to 50 episodes or something like that. I want to watch the first episode,
God.
and I'm talking about episode 0.
That's
the unreleased
that's a good
episode.
Idea. If we make it to 50, we can review episode 0 and laugh at ourselves.
Yes, that'll be what episode 50 is. But I would really love to. I think that I'm gonna toot our own horn a little bit. I think that the way that we've grown, the way that we've kind of shaped this thing, because I know that when we initially started, we asked for criticism from friends and family, because they're the only ones who were watching and kind of still are. But it's one of those things that's funny to me, man, because we've been able to grow and kind of shape who we are and what we want to put out there. The lessons that we can kind of not only teach but learn through this thing is always kind of crazy to me. It's a really weird and odd journey, but it's also fucking fantastic, and I wouldn't want to do it with any other fucker. You know what I mean? So
love you, babe.
Love you, baby. But anyways, we would love to just sit here and talk about how much we love each other and kiss each other on the mouths and shit. We would love to sit here and make out, but I think
that was time well meant. Bye.
I have been dialed in to this drama.
Communication is alpha.